Good evening, everybody. So tonight I've just got a kind of simple devotional. It's probably one that some of you have heard before. It's the concept of when we pray, how does God answer? And I think we struggle a lot sometimes with some of the answers He gives us. And I want to break it down into 3 simple answers. It's more complex than this, we all know that, but these are 3 of the most common, and a lot of things can be generalized into these categories. And those are, He answers yes, no, and wait. So we see examples of all 3 of these throughout the Bible multiple times. There's examples of Jesus immediately being able to call down healing from heaven, healing this person instantly. There's examples of God saying no. Another Jesus example, Him praying in the Garden of Gethsemane, and He's praying that God might take this burden away from Him, and He says no. And there's examples where He says wait. You look at the Israelites praying to be released from captivity over and over again because they keep messing up. And He says wait. And there's different reasons, I think, for all 3 of these. He says yes when it's the right time, when His glory will show in the action that you're asking for. He says yes when it's right. He says no when it's something that shouldn't happen. In the case of Jesus praying in the Garden of Gethsemane, unfortunately Jesus had to die on the cross. And while that was a painful and torturous process, it had to happen. And so no was the correct answer. And then there's answers like wait. Wait is probably the most complex one. I think we see this a little bit more because God tells us it's not the right time for this. We'll see that with examples of healing in modern day. Like, God tells us, nope, it's not time for you to be healed from this illness. There's reason for you to go through it. I think a really good point in that is like when somebody's dealing with an illness, it makes them understand what other people are going through that have the same illness or similar illnesses so much better. And that is just like something that's completely unconceivable to somebody that's never suffered in that way. And sometimes we need that lesson in compassion. And that ability to relate to other people down the road. So that's an example of when wait is a lesson in the bigger picture. But all 3 of these are lessons in the bigger picture. We sometimes forget that He can see the bigger picture and we can't. We can sometimes see it in hindsight, but we pretty much suck at seeing it in the moment. And I think it's really important for us to look at our daily prayers and look at our past life, look at our present life, look ahead to the future from that lens. That I can't see the big picture, He can. And trusting in Him that He knows what's right. And that's a really, really hard thing to do, I know. It's hard to accept, because sometimes it's like, why would God let me go through this pain? Pains in the world. Honestly, it's not Him, it's Satan, but He's saying that now's not the time. There's a reason for this. It's one of those just hurt your brain to think about, right? So, as we go into this next week, I want you guys to think about what are some examples in your own life of things you've prayed for and God's told you yes, no, and wait. And try and think of at least one example for all 3. I'm sure you can come up with more. And then kind of reflect on your current prayer life, things that you're actively praying for, and see if you can't seek those answers. Hear what God is saying to you. If He's saying wait, it's okay. If He's saying no, it's okay. I know we like to hear the yes, but we don't always get what we want, right? so I think it's really important. And I think I know when I pray, sometimes I'm really hesitant to hear that no and wait. Sometimes I'll keep praying and shut out that no and that wait instead of, okay, God, that's what we're doing. Okay, I got it. And sometimes it ends up being wait either way, because I'm just sitting there praying until he says yes. So I really want you guys to look into your prayer life and examine that. I think it's a really good exercise, and it's a exercise we should be doing often, examining, are we listening for those answers, or are we just treating God like the big bank in the sky? That's not how it is. So with that, that's all I have for you guys. I'll see you later.